I would like to introduce you here in just 2 seconds to a guy that I have respect for, but also a friend. These conversations usually start with me dialing the phone. So if you ever get one of these from me, you'll know there's usually an ask behind it. He's like, "Hey Jeff, it's Dennis. What's up? How are you?" And he's always willing to take that call, willing to sit down after the conference and give me good, honest feedback, in which we love. And then we start to throw around some ideas that usually start with, "I think I'd love to do a presentation on this," and then it kind of morphs over the months into this. So in any case, I'd like to introduce to you today, from Madison, Michigan and Market, and a good friend of mine, Mr. Jeff Leo Herman.
I'm back. Let's go get him, Jeff. Hey, hey, hey.
Oh. Yeah, I was going to clap. We're going to have some fun, right? Oh. That's okay. Let's keep going. How are we doing today? I was like, bust a move. I was going to dance. We're going to have some fun. The little Jay-Z, show me what you got. But let's keep going. We're in good shape. So thank you. You're being very generous with your time today. I really appreciate it. And today we're here to talk about the power of video and LinkedIn video specifically. And there's lots of technicalities, but basically by embracing video, it just makes you a better communicator. And that's really what it all boils down to, is how can you be a more effective communicator, find your voice, and grow your business. And the practice of doing video helps you in so many ways with personal interactions. And so because of that, before I get started, Dennis gave me such a great introduction, but I'm the dad of 2 Fortnite playing boys. You'll probably hear that a couple times in this presentation, but thrilled to be here and thrilled to share this information today. So really we're going to start with a very important question and then dig into this topic of video and LinkedIn video specifically and why it's not actually a waste of time. It actually adds a lot of productivity to your day. And because of that, we're going to jump into how to get started with the five P's of video marketing and then a Q&A. So before we get into the meat of the presentation, I just want to ask a question. So who do you think is crushing it on video today? You guys have in your mind people that crush it on video? Who do you think of? Just shout them out. Who's crushing it on video? Go ahead. Keenan, crushing it on video, right. What? Gary V is crushing it on video. Great one. Who else is crushing it on video? Kim Kardashian is crushing it on video. Who else? Anyone else? Will Smith. He is crushing it on video. Recently saw him with Casey Neistat. They're doing some work together. 368, I think it's called. Well, you know who else is crushing it on video? Marissa. Right? Marissa. There she is. Marissa is crushing it on video. She is amazing, right? So Marissa is fearless. She is the definition of how to build a brand in this century, and we have to give her lots of credit and lots of kudos because she works hard, and she's out there documenting the process, and every store demo you do, it's amazing. So you clearly are crushing it on video. So great job, Marissa. It's amazing. And who else is crushing it on video? Country music fans. Any country music fans? Oh, come on, country music, right? Jerry Melvin Cole, the nicest guy on Facebook. He's a retired Army medic, and every day Jerry plays his guitar, he covers country music, and he plays his guitar, he sings a song, he uploads the video, and he and his wife, beautiful Susie, travel around to senior living communities. He lives in Western PA. He travels around to senior living communities, in our region, and just puts on shows, and he does an amazing job. He's built a lot of great relationships because he's committed to building these relationships on video. So I suggest you follow Jerry, and even if you send him a quick message, he'll say hello. He's such a nice guy. Someone else who's crushing it on video. Who knows this guy? Ralph Fajak, right? Okay, he has his own hashtag, Stay Sassy Youngstown. So Ralph Fajak is constantly on video, right? He's constantly on Facebook. How many people here know Ralph personally? Okay. How many people think they know Ralph? Yeah. All right, so this is what's interesting. I met Ralph through DOYO a couple years ago and got to know him just through this event. I actually think we're really good friends. Like in my mind, we're really good friends. I realized I never actually have had a conversation with him. Like I've never sat down for 10 minutes, tell me about your family, tell me where you grew up, nothing. It's just simply because he's on video sharing all the time that I feel like I know him. And that, there's a lot to be said for that. So, you know, embrace his style, whatever, but it's interesting that Ralph clearly has made an impact and you feel like you know him even if you literally haven't. I mean, I saw him at Hothead Burritos with my kids. He was sitting there by himself and he walked out. I said, "Hey, Ralph, how you doing? Hey, Jeff, nice to see you." And my kid said, "Who's that?" "Oh, that's my good friend Ralph." Well, that definition is purely because of Facebook video. So that's interesting. So I think that being said, all these people we just created, the big creators like Gary Vee or Casey Neistat or the creators we covered that are here in this room today, what do they have in common? So who wants to share what do you think all of these creators have in common? Go ahead, Becky. They're authentic, yes, excellent.
I said sharing their stories.
They're sharing their stories, right? Who else? What do all these creators have in common? Go ahead, Matt. Consistency, perfect. What else? Passion, yes. They're passionate about their topic, right? They really care about their topic, and you can tell they live, eat, and breathe their topic. And that's what's amazing. They all have this in common. And as Alan stood up here on the stage just a couple hours ago, familiar is better. And it's proven through scientific research that he reviewed that the more you see something, the more I see Ralph on Facebook video, the more I like him. I don't have a reason to like him other than I think he's a funny guy on Facebook video and that I've seen him once or twice at Hothead Burritos. So it's proven, scientific research states that familiar is better. But, you know, it's all about being generous, right? And how can we have this type of relationship with our business audience, right? Because we're here at a LinkedIn session that talked about LinkedIn video, and we're all mostly business professionals here. And this is the type of relationship we want to have with our prospects and customers. And the act of being generous, and the act of being generous on video and solving problems instead of pitching products is really the effective go-forward path. So through this process of being generous, building relationships and establishing emotional connections, wouldn't it be awesome if our business relationships could look like this, where we're working in close concert and we're so close with them from an emotional standpoint. And look, not only does video really close those gaps and really, you know, deepens the emotional connectivity, but video also can help you stand out as an industry expert. It really makes you an authority in your space. Anyone that's consistently sharing content and that earns that respect because they're always solving problems and not pitching product, you really become an authority in your space. And video specifically via social media gives you that opportunity to build that trust and credibility, in fact, accelerate that trust and credibility factor. So I thought one thing that was interesting when we were asking for commonalities among video creators, no one said they're all on Facebook. That didn't come up, but what's interesting, and I think it's you know, proven that video is very impactful. It's a very impactful medium. Facebook is the dominant platform in this market, right? Facebook is amazing. In fact, we have Sassy Girl Media, right? Deanna, she gave a great workshop yesterday on how Facebook is such a powerful platform. I mean, 76% of sales organizations feels like it helps them increase their sales. So Facebook is an amazing platform to build these emotional connections. And broadly speaking, we still have a problem, right? So video is effective, it's proven. I don't care what you're talking about, but here's the problem. Anyone want to anticipate the problem we have when it comes to video?
How to incorporate it into LinkedIn.
Right, that's a good one. How to make it work with LinkedIn, how to think about transitioning from this platform of Facebook to LinkedIn. In general, be it Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, video, the big problem is fear. So if we all feel it's an effective way to communicate, build trust and credibility, become a trusted advisor, establish emotional connections, Video is an amazing way to do that, and it's proven, but how do you get started? And it's this notion of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. What am I gonna say? No one wants to see me on camera. I'm not sure what I would do. I don't have the time to get a camera. There's a million reasons to not do video. And that's a reality, right? It's just literally, it's really hard to get started. So fear is a problem. Or if you're not afraid, who has this phenomenon? Who's not afraid to do video? Anyone have a spouse that really busts their chops when they do it? Yeah, I get this all the time, right? The eye roll. When I used to be very active, part of the subtitle of this presentation is Confessions of a Former Facebook Live video user. My wife's friends were relentless because, oh, he's at it again. His giant head is hogging up that whole screen. It's a problem, right? That, you really want to work hard and think about, the fear and, the whole idea behind how to keep your work life and your personal life separate. And that's a real issue. How many people here prefer to keep their work life and their personal life separate? A lot of people, right? And that's a big barrier to Facebook, even though I love Facebook as a platform, and it's amazing, it does great things. Many of us, me included, have punted on Facebook and basically punted on every other platform just to focus all my time and energy on LinkedIn, because from a business standpoint and building these relationships, it's really the most effective platform we have today, and it really helps you separate that work and personal, those lifestyles, so you don't end up, getting these texts because you went live on Facebook again and your wife's friends think you look like a moron. What's he talking about, content marketing? So that's why LinkedIn Video is such an amazing tool, and it's a great tool for a pure B2B audience. And look, Facebook is dominant. It's dominant in this market, but LinkedIn is very strong as well. So in this market, and looking at our region, right across Youngstown, Warren, Sharon, Western Pennsylvania, there are 162,000 members using LinkedIn, right? So there are a lot of people signed up to LinkedIn, and the good news is 25,000 of them are VP and C level. So they're business owners, they're business decision makers, they're people with budget. And the good news is LinkedIn Video is newer. It's like a year and a half old. It's not that crowded. So it's a great way to stand out, and you don't end up in the volume of activity on Facebook. You can stand out and really break through all of the other competition by leveraging a platform like LinkedIn, and it's a proven, trusted platform that a lot of people specifically in this market use, and that data is specifically from LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So that being said, we still have this issue of, doing video is a waste of time. I'm not sure it's worth it, right? It's not a waste of time. And in fact, we're going to give you 4 reasons it's not a waste of time, how you can build these emotional connections. And as we've discussed, it's an effective way to find and keep relationships. I think I'm best friends with Ralph Fajak, even though I've never spent time with him. Video has done that for us, right? Helps you refine your thinking. So if you stand up and do video, and look, maybe do video, but don't ever release it. But if you're gonna write anything, record a video, do any type of presentation, refining your thinking, so just having coherent thoughts and presenting information in an organized manner is amazing. And doing video, the practice of doing video on LinkedIn, or video in any case, helps you just refine your thinking, and it helps you become more succinct. Doing video, videos on LinkedIn run anywhere from 1 minute to 3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes tops. In that short time horizon, just like we've seen on YouTube, you have to hook them fast, right? And being succinct is very important and very critical, because the opening of the video, the hook, why are you here? What are you going to learn from watching this video? Then the introduction, then the message, then the call to action and close. That succinct nature, once again, really helps you in personal interactions and live settings be a much more succinct and efficient communicator. And then lastly, as we said, LinkedIn Video is still an emerging platform, right? There's still a lot of room to grow. It's not really a busy platform. And I'll admit that the way LinkedIn organizes videos, and they don't really keep them on your profile, they just kind of disappear into the timeline. It's not great yet. They have a lot of work to do. but it's still a very effective platform, and it's a great way to get in now while it's still emerging, and just really communicate with those people that in your your prospects and customers where you want to become a trusted advisor. So the question is, does anyone want to know how to get started? Yeah, all right. Were you raising your hand or were you saying 5 minutes? Oh, okay, guys, 5 minutes left, you're lucky. No. All right, so how to get started. We've gone through all these machinations, right? Find and keep relationships, become a trusted advisor, illustrate your knowledge and expertise, build emotional connections. But it's hard, as we said, right? It's very hard. So we broke it down into a 5P model, right? How can we plan, produce, publish, promote, and then ultimately measure performance? And these are the steps on the path to help you get set up and moving forward on LinkedIn video specifically, but it works for whatever video platform you prefer to embrace. So first, let's dig into the planning phase. When we plan, the biggest part of planning when you're going to embrace a video marketing strategy and you really want to focus on your audience, who are you targeting? Picking your ideal client profile, picking your target audience is so critical out of the gate. And as you've heard, it's a common statement, if you're targeting everyone, you're targeting no one. So the suggestions these days are how can you maybe move 5 to 10 people to action? Like literally make your videos so it resonates with only 5 to 10 people. And if you resonate with and you move to action just 5 to 10 people, that expertise will grow and you'll find that you'll find more people like that. But this notion of, it's called audience selection, not audience development. And that's from Seth Godin, who's a great marketing author. He says just really refine, pinpoint your audience, and go as narrow as possible. And through that narrow, you'll embrace and you'll find a lot of value in really digging specifically deep into an audience persona. And this is an example of a persona profile. And in many cases, a lot of times when we're building our target audience, the classic way of media buying, it's demographic and firmographic, age, gender, income, education, occupation, industry information. People tend to stick in the middle. But if you're going to embrace video marketing to build these emotional connections and become a trusted advisor in your industry, you have to think about responsibilities and their desires, their goals, motivations, and fears. How you would communicate with and do a video for a CFO is very different than how you would do a video, say, for a VP of sales. You would use different language, you would use different motivational techniques. There's a wide variety, so I encourage everyone to build a persona profile when you are building your target audience, and just go narrow, 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 and if you think it's not narrow enough, if you think it's too narrow, go a little bit more narrow, because that's where the value is in moving just a few people to action, and that grows from there. Another great resource. So once you do select your audience, and you figure out exactly who you're gonna target and what their goals and motivations and fears are, what the heck are you gonna say to them? That's another big problem. That's a big part of the fear factor here. What to say? Anyone heard of Answer the Public, this website? It's amazing, isn't it? Literally, it's a website built. You plug in a keyword, it gives you hundreds of ways to think about a topic. So Answer the Public, there's a screenshot of the homepage. I literally plugged in Fortnite. How many people are either play or tired of Fortnite? A lot of Fortnite fans out there? Sure, you all have kids in that same age range. But, I'm figuring out a way to talk to my kids these days, a 9 and a 12-year-old. I plugged in Fortnite. And here I have 186 ways to ask them questions about Fortnite. And if you have any topic from a business setting, you plug the keyword in, and it gives you all these derivations of ways to talk about a specific topic. So that's really, it's an amazing resource. And a great way just to kind of stimulate your thinking on what you should cover on LinkedIn. Another resource, this resource is from The Accidental Creative, 10 ways to help you find your voice. And that's another thing. So who's our audience? What we're going to talk about, but then what's my style? Like, how do I want to communicate and convey information? And there are a lot of, there are 10 amazing ways here. I really just tend to focus on number 6 and number 5 at times, but if you had all the time and money in the world, what would you do? And the amazing thing about how you can answer that question, what would you do if you had all the time and money in the world? What are you really passionate about and marry that with your business. And once again, when doing video, the most impactful video marketers solve problems. They don't pitch product. So they rarely ever pitch a product, right? They solve a problem. And when Marissa is at a store, you're talking about your experience. You're not literally shoving a bottle of wine in their face, right? And that's really what's amazing, and she does a great job of that. Ralph does a great job. He's not allowed to talk about financial services because it's barred by the SEC to mention, forward-looking information. So if you can integrate some personal perspective into your business content, you can do a great job of building that trust and credibility and become a trusted advisor. So now we're out through the planning phase, and planning is so critical because, as they say, if you don't have any goals, how do you know if you're effective? So I would spend a fair amount of time on the planning phase, really just to get everything nailed down and so you're focused. Now we're moving into the production phase. This is P number 2, right? Production. So we've decided to do it, we're going to embrace it, we're going to go for it, and we're going to produce video. Well, these are 3 production tips, pretty simple. Block the shot. All that means is when you're setting up your shot, just do it in a way that there's not a lot of clutter or distracting material behind you. So have a clean environment, free of clutter. Lighting, and this goes for a webinar or any type of video marketing or content even captured via your smartphone. Always face the window and have the camera here and the window behind you because that natural lighting is best. If you're sitting, even though you might have a nice view out your window, the camera picks up that light and it makes you very dark. So it's always really important to make sure your lighting is spot on. And then camera angle, and this is a funny one. How many people have been on a web conference and say they're on a laptop and the screen is kind of pointing up their nose? Have you seen that? It kind of feels awkward. Yeah, and the same goes. So always try to, if I do something from my Mac, I get a stack of books and I just raise my computer up to make sure there's right at eye level. And that stable base, and just a couple other production tips, don't be afraid to have an index card off camera with a couple bullet points just to keep you on track. And of course, don't be afraid to edit. Matt, thankfully, does a great job of editing, and we've worked together. Just keep talking, and then pretty quickly you'll learn how to just clip things out and just clip it. And thank goodness the jump cut is so popular because the jump cut was made because so many people, and you kind of want to chop those, those kind of awkward moments out. So those are your production tips, and it's easy to produce on the app. Of course, you just hit that little icon, the video icon. It brings up the screen. You hit the selfie mode, and you hit record, and you go, and you talk, and you keep it short and succinct, and you build those emotional connections. So now we're on to the 3rd P, publish. We've planned, we've produced, now we're going to publish. And the act of publishing is very different from the act of production. I would recommend to keep publishing very separate from production. And in fact, do a lot of production and finish it and put it in the can, and then publish on a very consistent basis. And so, for example, here, if you throw it in your calendar, that's always a great idea. Produce every Wednesday morning, publish every Thursday morning, and just the best things, as Matt said, consistency is really important when it comes to video marketing. Show up on a consistent basis, build that trust and credibility, and the goal is to have them miss you when you're gone. So through that consistent act and through that nature, so it's a great tip to just produce, make that content, and then publish in an organized way and nail that schedule religiously. So if you're going to publish on Wednesdays at noon, do it every Wednesday at noon, and don't ever miss it. And that goes without saying, live is an amazing way to communicate. But at the same point, if you don't have the opportunity to go live, setting up a publishing schedule separate from your production schedule really makes an effective way to get going. And as we've already stated, thanks to HubSpot, the best time to publish video on LinkedIn is Wednesdays at noon. You have a wide variety, but you can see the day parts are before work, lunchtime, or after work. It's pretty simple, not a lot of thought there. So the 4th P, promote. Promotion. And it's interesting we're saying promotion because the idea of video marketing is solving problems, not pitching product, but you still want to promote your video, right? You still want to get out there and have it travel around and represent you and kind of all of your great capabilities. So find an influencer if you can. if you have the ability to really camp on to someone else's audience, that really helps you get started. So you can see here, this table, I trended my last 10 posts on LinkedIn. And you can see there's a mega spike with Alan Gannett. So oh, there he is. It's a great book. I did a book opening video, an unboxing video. I boom, hit the box, opened it up, and just, hey, Creative Curve, really looking to reading this. Shared it. Alan said, great, thank you. He shared it. This, 10x'd my normal. Normally I get, hundreds of maybe a couple thousand views, but by camping on Alan's audience, thank you, Alan, rocketed to close to 10,000 views for that silly video of me opening a box to pull out a book. That was it. Other things, hashtagging on LinkedIn, of course, is great. Another friend, a guy, Scott Taylor, he works for a really big company, Dun & Bradstreet, used to work for Nielsen. So if you can find someone that works at a big company and get that distribution, that's a great way to then ultimately measure performance. So once you find that influencer, how do you know if it's effective, right? We're not going to do something that's ineffective, so measuring performance, this fifth P, is really critical. And here's another screenshot of the video, of the unboxing video that Alan so nicely shared. The best thing about LinkedIn, you know pretty much who's watching it. So you always know who clicks on your profile. How many people, I'll admit it, every day I see who looked at my profile. How many people do that? Yeah. It's, it's a thing. I don't know. It's, so not only finding out who looked at your profile, but who watched your video. So we had, close to more than 8,000 views. People from Microsoft, IBM, Accenture, Oracle looked at the video. Sales and marketing people looked at the video. Of course, great distribution in New York and DC because that's Alan's hood. So it's amazing to find out how you can be very, very effective at releasing these videos and look at the performance on a case-by-case basis, and just simply do more of what's working. With this last chart here, of course, I'm going to try to pimp Alan again to get more distribution. And my friend Scott in New York, I thought, I'm going to do another video with him because that was a little pop for me. So just finding those, being generous goes both ways. And so finding those influencers or those friends or those collaborators can really help you make a big impact when you are doing your video. And I will wrap up with the final way to measure performance. So not only on LinkedIn, who watched your video and how far did it travel, but what's an effective way to really, really know? So it's nice to get the view, but how do I know someone did something right? What's the call to action? So here's an example of Bob Gearhart Jr. with DCW. This actually is an example from the Business Journal. The Business Journal has a great video publishing platform. And every video he does in the business strategies, he always leaves a call to action with a landing page. And that's an amazing way. He shares great information, and he says, for more information, visit dcw.com/this issue, and it presents a landing page. And in many cases, how often do we hear videos or people leaving a call to action sending traffic to the homepage? Just go to so-and-so.com. Well, that's like going to the Canfield Fair and saying, I'll meet you at the fair, versus really you should say, I'll meet you at the Rock by the grandstand, right? And so having a landing page, having a strong call to action, more information on the great information you shared or the problem you solved, strong call to action with a landing page to fill out a form, boom, you grab it, that's the email address, that's the holy grail. Then you follow up once again, based upon how hard you want to pursue these leads that come in. But that's always. So wrapping up the 5 Ps, we want to really restate that this might not be for you, right? Just making videos in general might not be for you, or making videos on LinkedIn might not be for you. But the act of making videos really just helps you become a better communicator. And this process of how you refine your thinking and being more succinct, when you're in person making a presentation or even having lunch with someone in a business setting, you can really nail your key message points and really nail your elevator pitch because you've done it so many times standing by yourself in your office with a phone in front of you. So With that being said, I'd like to thank you all. I appreciate your time and your generosity, and I will definitely pause for any questions.